Luke and I, we achieved a milestone together. Everyone's staring at us. This is great. We achieved a milestone together on the show.
Yeah.
Well, not on the show, during a show, right? We got to kick out our very first audience member. And not just kick out. We didn't say leave and then they left.
No.
Dragged out by security while we were yelling fuck off, and Zach, the tour manager, played music
He was
to walk them off.
It was. We really kicked her out in spectacular fashion, but
Yeah.
it wasn't like.
The video is coming soon.
Yeah.
We won't ruin the funniest bits of it, but it was fucking intense.
We do want to talk about it because it was obviously we've covered it a little bit in the past in this podcast, like talking about offense and how people often miss the intent of jokes and put their own insecurities or their own problems onto you. There's always a bunch of issues as to why someone may have a problem with a joke.
I've never seen them all at once
Yes.
at the same time from the same person so aggressively. Just, my life sucks, I can't understand humor, I'm angry, and no one else is allowed to enjoy this because I'm correct and you're a white male.
Yeah. It was all rolled into one, and it was from literally the minute we got up on stage together.
Immediately offensive. There was one joke which you'll see in the video, but we won't ruin it because we do it at the shows still. We did it, and it was the joke is making fun of other people who don't respect Aboriginal culture. Right?
It was
so Aboriginals get a mention, but the target of the joke is people who don't appreciate their culture. That's the joke.
Making fun of, other people who are bigots.
Yeah,
Essentially.
and immediately she puts her hand up for some reason,
And I thought she was hailing Hitler. I was like, "Oh, you're a little too on board with that one." and then
Yeah.
she's like, "It turns out, no. It was apparently it was question time."
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh fuck, I'm sorry. Is this a Q&A?"
I actually thought it was a question because that joke is so obviously such a joke. I actually went to her, "Oh yeah, do you have a question?" And she just went no and started yapping about
no
how
one
it was
else
offensive.
even went, "Ooh."
No, everybody laughed. We've done
Sometimes
it in a few towns now.
Like we might make a joke about like the Holocaust or Hitler, or you mentioned something a little bit touchy, I guess, and people
Yeah.
might go, "Oh," like do that kind of laugh.
That's fine.
But it didn't even go that kind of laugh. Everyone was like, "Oh yeah,
That's a good
those
joke.
People
and bigots are
bigots.
silly."
Yeah.
That was the joke. Immediately understood. And she just puts her hand up and then starts like talking. What was really weird was that she kept talking at like conversation volume when we were about 8 rows ahead of her, so we couldn't really hear her, but she refused
it
to
was
raise
like
her voice.
Three rows.
No, but it was like
Yeah, it was like 5 meters away.
yeah.
There wasn't many rows. It was in Port Macquarie. We didn't sell many tickets. As
There
you'll
weren't
see in the
8 rows
video.
of seats.
But she was too far away to be talking like this
Yeah.
at a regular volume. And we literally... It's kind of sometimes fun when there's a heckler who's being a little bit vocal and you can
Yeah.
be vocal back and everyone in the room can hear the exchange.
Yeah.
What was confusing about it was not even we could hear the exchange.
We had people, everyone in the room thought she was such a dickhead that other people started laughing at her, and then people sitting near her would just repeat what she said so that we could hear and then wreck her for their entertainment.
Literally.
Which is teamwork, isn't it?
Other people behind her started translating.
Yeah.
Like just...
At one point, Luke told a very tame joke. She got angry about it and then said...
What was the one?
She said, no, and then you went... What did you say? And then a girl behind her went, she said she would lay you out in 3 seconds.
And by the
And
way,
she couldn't.
she goes, look, I'm not, again, I don't want to go into a gender theory class here, right? That's the last thing I'd want to do.
Yeah.
But saying to anyone, let's take gender out of it.
Yeah.
Saying to anyone 2 feet taller than you, I could lay you out in 3 seconds is
Yeah.
an ambitious call.
It really
Whether
is.
you're a woman, man, doesn't matter, right?
Especially for someone who got forcibly removed by a 50-year-old female security
That's
guard. Embarrassing.
True, you would think if she could lay me out, then the security guard, she would have been fucked.
We would have needed the riot squad, really. World's strongest 5'3" woman.
Yeah. And then I think, look, I was trying not to be rude. It's very hard when someone's disrupting the night for
Especially
you
because
and
it was
everyone
small.
else.
The energy
Yeah.
was like... Everybody else was enjoying it, so it was a brilliant show, except for... You know what it was? The show had cancer, right? All of the other cells were trying to do their job, but there was one cancerous going, nah, fuck it, let's all die.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Keelan was slacking off, but we're back. Where were
The
we?
recorder stopped.
The vibe had cancer. She
Yes.
was trying to kill the vibe. Everyone else was trying to do a good job. She was really tanking it.
It was just a hippie melanoma in the room.
Yeah, and it was really weird because Luke was... We do a split bill, so Luke goes on first tonight. We've switched it up. Luke was on first at this point. We were on together, and she was offended by us, and I said some very mean things, and so did Luke, and that was all a good laugh, and then we were prepared to move on.
But it wasn't like... It wasn't any meaner than we would treat anyone else who was being rude.
No,
and it's
we
like,
weren't being mean. We were being funny.
It was like funny. Like it's not like we were being mean and the crowd was just sitting there silently. Like it was like...
It was all funny stuff.
It was like she said something and we'd wreck her and then we're like, all right, and we'd try and move on and then she'd keep going and we're like, we don't really want to spend the whole night talking to you, to be honest.
Yeah,
we
no.
have a show to do.
Because, yeah, it's just like super selfish because everybody else has paid money and, you know, fuck it. We've travelled for literally days to be there to entertain
and
people.
Obviously, she wasn't a fan of us, if you can't already work that out.
She was brought by two people who were really big fans. We felt really bad for them.
It ruined their night, I think. But that's a bummer. Oh, well. It's and you know, whatever.
So, anyway, Luke's going through his set and he's doing his best. He's doing really well despite the awful woman.
It was so distracting because it was such a small crowd when one person's like... And by the way, it's not like she was sitting there and hating it. She was talking whenever I said a joke and would explain to the guy next to her why it was wrong. And I could hear her going, you're not allowed to say that, blah, blah, blah. And she'd just start going... And then she'd also be like, oh... Like,
oh, really?
Yeah, she was like, oh...
That's so fucking, like, aggressively rude.
Sometimes I heard, wow. Wow.
That's fucked.
It was just weird.
I didn't notice her doing that.
Like,
that's
why I kept
fucking
on going
crazy.
back to her. And then I obviously kept ripping her, and it was, like, crushing. And that's the thing, because I was ripping her and everyone else was kind of hating her too, it was crushing. It kept on bothering her more.
Yes.
So the situation kept escalating because it's like, well, if you yell out something, I have to wreck you. It's the rules.
That's the rules, yeah.
And as long as it's still funny, that's fine.
Yes.
And also, it's one of those things, we have talked about this before as well, this, like, it's what we do every night. Like, it's not going to end well.
You will lose
100%
of the time.
You don't.
People have paid to see us, not you.
Yeah,
it's like stepping into the ring of a
thing
boxing match, right? But you're not scheduled to fight.
Yeah.
It's like you try and fight two of the boxers at the same time, thinking you're going to win.
Yeah, you're like the fucking ring girl going, I'll fucking lay you out, Muhammad Ali.
But nowhere near that hot.
Yeah.
So while Luke was doing this, my favorite thing that you were doing was not when you said stuff back to her, would be when you would say a joke,
say a joke that I knew
get the
she'd
laugh,
hate.
And then would just slowly look her in the eyes, and smile like, "What do you think about that, bitch?"
Yeah.
And then just continue.
I would do like a joke that I knew she'd hate. And by the way, my stuff's not that edgy. Maybe it's a little bit edgier this year, but it's just.
It really wasn't that edgy at all.
It's not at all. Like, there was this one joke about Michael Jackson. I'm not going to spoil it, whatever, but I knew she'd hate it.
You know the vibe of that joke.
Yeah, you know obviously the vein that it's in. And I did it, and everyone, like, it got a big applause and stuff, and then I was like... and she just went...
She just hated it.
And then she started, repeating the same thing. She's like, I don't feel anything. I don't... See this? My face? I don't feel anything.
Like going, oh, you're not making me laugh. Like you have to make only me laugh. Like it was so the thing of like, oh, am I wrong? Everyone else is enjoying this. Is it me? No, it must be the whole world. I am the only correct one.
She was like, your set does not concern me, and I'm not bothered. She kept saying how not bothered she was, and I was my favorite part. I was just like, I'll be honest, and I'll leave out her name, but I was like, I'll be honest. I've been doing comedy for 5 years. I do about 150 gigs every year, right? I've done about 800, 700, 800. I've done this 800 times before. I've never seen anyone more concerned than you. I was like, it was shocking. She's like, I'm not bothered. I was like, I think you are.
Yeah, she really was. So... It got to a point where it was not funny anymore, and it was disruptive, and it was annoying the rest of the audience.
When she started taking a phone call during a joke.
She got on her phone, and I don't.
Who was she calling?
She was either
she was doing to piss me off.
I think she was actually watching videos on her phone and trying to listen to the volume. Is what I realized she was doing.
Why didn't she leave?
That's the thing. Like she's fucking.
And we asked her if she wanted to leave. Like it's not like.
We gave her the
fuck off.
option
We were like,
straight
"Would you
away.
like to
We
leave?"
saw that she was going to be a problem for the whole show immediately. So we nicely said, oh, you can leave. And I think that right at the start of the show, she said about the joke we made. She said something, and I said, oh, that's not okay. Well, can you write down a list of all of the things that we're allowed to joke about, and I'll cater the entire show just to you.
Yeah. It was all about her.
Entitled shit. So anyway, now it starts to be sad and not funny. So while Luke's doing all this, doing his best to handle the cancer, I'm out organising security. I'm like, we're probably going to kick her out if she keeps going.
I'm doing
kick
like
her out.
chemo, like keeping the situation alive, but it's still not going to end well.
And I'm here, the doctor with the realistic diagnosis. I'm going, we're going to have to amputate. This is it. Right? So I get the surgery ready. I get all the tools, the security. I get Zach to a manager. I was like, you fucking be ready. I'm going to get her to kick. I'm going to kick her off if she does anything else. And then I see her on her phone, and I'm like, that's fucking it. So Luke's talking about her being on the phone. I get up, and I just grab the other microphone, and I go, hey, girl's name, fuck off. And we just went to town on her,
And
told her
then
to fuck off,
Zach
told her to go
started
home.
playing the na 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 hey goodbye over the loudspeaker.
And she still wouldn't leave.
And then she was still like, I can win this. And
Yeah.
then while like the rest of the audience is like, woohoo, she's fucking off.
She's getting dragged out by the security guard. It was very funny. I think from memory, that's when I started to get a little bit mean. I think I said,
don't
this
say
is...
what you said.
No, I won't say There's one thing that I said that will never be in the video because it was probably I would say, the meanest thing I have ever said to another human being.
I told Meg that.
Yeah.
And she goes, no, I think that's pretty cool.
It was I think in the moment, because once you get to that point, I was like, okay, you've tried to ruin the nights of 60 other people who have paid on purpose. So I'm going to construct the most hurtful sentence I can think of, and I fucking nailed it, boys, didn't I?
Even I was like on stage, and you see me, I just go, oh.
Okay, but the less mean thing I said, hey, girl's name, fuck off, go home. This is sad. You're embarrassing yourself. This is pathetic. You will remember this for the rest of your life, and we will never think of you after this week. Go home. You're an embarrassment. And then I did something else that was very mean, and then I did something that was very funny.
That was also a lie, though, because I'll always remember her.
Yeah, I was just trying to hurt her feelings.
Yeah, I know. I was like, oh, you said that, and I was like, no, we'll all remember this night.
Yeah.
Even the people in the crowd will be like, that was the night that Luke and Lewis kicked out that fucking weirdo.
Yeah.
There was a bloke at the back who looked like Shane Warne who came up to me, and this is just like, him looking like Shane Warne is irrelevant. It just kind of sums up the vibe of the guy. He walked up to me, and we're in Port Macquarie, and he was so ashamed of her being there. He goes, mate, and even though he knew she was, he goes, mate, I'm from Port Macquarie. We're all from Port Macquarie. She's not from here, though. And then he just left. He was so ashamed to even be associated with her.
She got disowned
Yeah,
by
she got
Port
disowned
Macquarie.
by the town.
You know what's really funny as well? You guys will see the video probably in a few weeks. We have to edit it nice and good and work out what to do with it. But what was really funny was I heard from the security guard afterwards that when because she had to get dragged out from our show directly into someone's 50th birthday party at the RSL. Then
Karen's 50th was just fucking destroyed by
ruined.
bad vibes.
Have you thought about this? She would have had to go through Karen's 50th, down the stairs, through the pokey room, out the door, down the ramp, into the car park, and then she's out.
That's a lot of thinking time, isn't it?
Oh,
That's
yeah.
a lot of times you're going, did I handle myself correctly back there?
Yeah, just getting embarrassed in front of 6 different functions.
Yeah, so the thing that you said.
And when she got to the car park, this is what she said. Well, whatever, I don't care. What happens in port stays in port. Hey, not if you film it.
Yeah. And
So
also,
stay tuned, guys.
don't compare Port Macquarie to Las Vegas. It's just not the same thing.
It really is not.
Yeah. If people get chlamydia in port, it comes home with you.
Yeah.
It doesn't stay in port. You were going to say what you said to her? You said one thing that wasn't fucked?
Oh, just, you're sad, you're embarrassing.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I said, this is sad for you and nobody else.
Yeah, okay. Cool.
And I think the other thing that will cut out of the video may have almost made her cry. And that's an achievement, ladies and gentlemen. Well done.
You know what? She had it coming.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
now,
come see us live.
yeah. And by the way, every other show, so good.
Incredible.
Like,
and that
so
show,
lovely.
despite her, was
great.
fucking great.
You know what else was one of my favourite parts looking back on the night is I went first. Now, look, Lewis's set probably definitely edgier than mine. She was hating mine. I'm thinking the whole time during mine, I was like, oh, God, fucking strap in. You're going to hate Lewis's. Like, if you're hating this, she thought because I was making fun of guys wearing khaki shorts in Gundagai that I was making fun of the less fortunate.
Yeah.
And I was like, what are you...
Oh, she did too.
Yeah, and she hated that joke, and I was like, "Oh, it's a joke about guys dressing like."
That's crazy. So she's a fucking hero, dude. She stood up for.
She stood up for everyone.
She stood up for people who were less fortunate. She stood up for people who were racist against Aboriginal people.
You know what? I made a few jokes about men, and she actually, I saw her having a good giggle.
Yeah.
So you know what? Equality, man. Stand up for me too. She pointed out that I was a man at one point.
Yeah.
She ran out of arguments, and at one point she just goes, "You're a man."
Yep.
And I was like...
Yes. In case you haven't noticed.
Yeah.
I think she said, when I was on stage with you, she said, this is right at the start, she said, "You're a tall, straight, white man in a Lacoste t-shirt." She just started describing me. I just wanted to be like, firstly, what the fuck does being tall have anything to do with it? Maybe, yeah, white male privilege.
If she
sure,
had have
I'll
said,
take that.
"Hey, you dress like an Oz rapper," I would have been like, "Dude, you got owned." But
yeah.
She didn't. I think that's what she was implying.
I think she was implying that I was very rich because I had a name brand T-shirt, and so that's why I'm privileged. It's like,
little did she know that you were going to be sleeping on a floor in a camper van within 4 hours of that conversation.
I actually had no home. It's like, dude, you're wearing clothes that were made by children. At least I know mine were made in safe working conditions. You fucking hero. But anyway, guys,
what a fun vibe this
I'm
tour
going
has
to.
been. It's getting a bit dark, actually. Are we still? Is this still well lit?